Hello, I am D-Star, and today we'll try to understand behavior in Skyrim and why Nemesis is a step forward. So first, let's take a look at what the vanilla game looks like. It is important to notice that all the mods showcased in that video work with behavior files. So now, we'll try to look at the game with only SkySA. What it does is force a translation forward when attacking, log the direction and movement. So here you can see, I can't move, I can't rotate, and I move forward when I attack. Also, if I sprint, there's no procedural leaning. So now, let's try to add CGO. What CGO does is, add procedural leaning and attack while jumping. These are not all the features, but the only one we're interested in. Here you can see I can start moving again, and rotate, so SkySA lost all its effect. But procedural leaning and attack while jumping are added, so CGO works. So if we take a look at MO2, we can see CGO overwrites SkySA files. Now we got SkySA on the right and CGO on the left. If we look at the files, we can see they both contain one HM behavior. As CGO is lower, it overwrites SkySA. But we can tell ourselves, SkySA features are more important than CGO, combat-wise, so we'll just invert them in our load order. So SkySA will overwrite CGO. Now if we look at the game, we got SkySA attack commitment and CGO features. So rotation and movement lock, forced translation, procedural leaning and attack while jumping. So this is cool, but you probably won't play with only 2 mods in your load order. Now we're gonna add Momo acrobatic jump. So now if we run it just like this, all you're getting is a T-pose. So typically what you'll do now is run FNIS. And here we can see the only patch available is for Momo acrobatic jump. We got no patch for SkySA and no patch for CGO. And the result in game is we lost all SkySA features and all CGO features. We got Momo acrobatic jump, which is cool but not enough. So if we take a look at MO2 again, we can see that FNIS overwrites everything. What it did is, it generated its own behavior files. And as there was only a patch for Momo acrobatic jump, only Momo acrobatic jump was included in the FNIS generated behavior files. At this point, this may be a bit blurry, so we're gonna try to have at least a basic understanding of how behavior files work. For this, we're going to create our own mod based on SkySA. All you need to know is behavior file dictates the conduct of your character, it's pretty explicit. So why don't we just combine behavior files? Well, behavior files work like the other files. You can only have one texture for the stone walls in Riften. So here too, you can only have one behavior file for the idol, for example. So, to combine behavior modifications, we need to create another behavior files containing all the behavior modifications we want. So we need a way for the software generating the behavior files to know which modification to include. That's why FNIS works with patches. The patches tells FNIS which modification to include. That's why we could have a Momo behavior modification, but not the SkySA or CGO because they're just well-known patches. I hope it's clear in your mind, so now let's create the mod. We're back to the vanilla game without the movement and rotation lock. We're going to add them. This is not a tutorial on how to modify behavior, but just on the understanding of the concept, so don't worry, it won't be difficult. Now let's open the behavior files. Here's how it looks, and we want to modify the attack, so we'll go to the attack state. So here I opened the branch, that branch opened other branches, which opened other branches. Now we'll move further in the branch tree. Don't worry, you don't have to understand what everything does, and to be honest, I don't either. At the end of the branch, we have the animation clip, which is here in yellow. It contains all the information about the animations. So what we're trying to do is to log the rotation and log the movement. You may have noticed that you can't move while you use a power attack. You can rotate, but you can't move. So what we're gonna do is just steal the method. The tree contains a modifier, which allows different effects, and this one is called power attack is active. Follow the mouse and you'll see it's a BS is active modifier. Now we open its property and we can see it uses the property BArrow rotation. This property logs the movement. Don't ask me why they chose this name, I don't know. So now we know that to log the movement, we need to add a BArrow rotation modifier. we're just gonna add it to the normal attack. So here we add the BS is active modifier, and now we'll add the BLO rotation property. And here it is, that's almost how SkySA works, but not exactly. SkySA also logs the movement. We're gonna do it for the second swing. The first swing is called attack right, the second swing is called attack left. It is also a BS is active modifier, but this time the property is on BLO rotation. It is B animation driven. That property locks not only the movement, but also the rotation. So what we're gonna have in-game is, I won't be able to move at all, and I'll be able to rotate only for the first swing. And here it is, we almost made SkySA. So here you understand that what matters is not the whole behavior tree, but only the two modifiers we added. So here's, in my opinion, the big difference between FNIS and Nemesis. With FNIS, I'd have to ask for to make a patch, to have my mod made compatible with FNIS. If you refuse, it will never be compatible. And let's face it, we all want NIS, we all use FNIS. I did, because it is just essential. So now, whether we agree or not, with for stance, it's his mod, he does whatever he wants with it, he owes nothing, and we can only respect his decision. So now, let's move on to Nemesis. Making a patch takes 30 seconds at most. You need a tool called HKX Extractor, provided by the creator of Nemesis. So what you need to do is place your modified behavior files in the edits folder, run HKX Extractor, then just follow the instruction. You need to enter some information, here we don't care, it's just a test. And after it's done, you need to go to the mod folder and copy the content of your new extracted mod inside the Nemesis folder. So we created the patch, and now we're just going to run Nemesis. Now we're going to play with all the other mods, except SkySA. We'll replace it with the mod we just created. You can still see SkySA animation because I forgot to disable it, but I can still rotate on the first swing, so really it's just the mod we made. And here are the features from the other mods. So guys, let's not forget, what is boring in Skyrim? Skyrim. Let's make it another game.